Here, it's on. It's on in there now. So, yeah. Hey, I hope you can see me. Okay, look, I'm just gonna do a video on something that happened. So, um, just like recently, like last week or something, I get panicky because I believe I have OCD and autism and other mental issues too as well. Like, I believe that my doctor was diagnosing me with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder or a type of schizophrenia, one of the two. And then I have autism. I have OCD symptoms because I get obsessed with my phone and I can't let go of it, or I get panicky about some things, and when I get stressed out, I yell, I scream, so there was this one time where, like, I think 2 weeks ago, right, when I got like really panicky, I still feel these impulse controls where, yes, I'm a lot better, but I still feel those impulse controls where I get panicky. I go from like here, like way up at the bottom to up here, like in like seconds. And I still feel that impulse control. But you see, the differences between most people's is that I will admit that I've been wrong because I don't like to hurt anybody. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling when somebody, you know, hears me like that, or I hate that feeling. But I also my brain can't switch itself. My brain can't seem to like, switch itself. Like most people, they can change when they admit that they're wrong. Their brain will automatically just flip the switch, and because that releases all their anger if they admit that they've been wrong. Normally, the person can just be able to not do that anymore and practice on not doing it anymore. I don't have that ability to do that, I don't think. Because I've been like that for so long and I always admitted that. So I know I can change, but my brain just can't seem to like be able to switch itself no matter how hard I want to change that. Um, um, I feel like sometimes, because I have I think I have OCD symptoms too, just because I'm obsessed with my phone. And if I put it down, or if I go to a store or something, I put it in my purse, I walk out of there, and I always have to check for it where it is, and I always have to have it in my hand when everyone walk around the house, because as soon as I set it down, I get panicky, and then that's when I also freak out and yell because I get into a panic. I'm like, where's my phone? And I'm looking all over the place because I don't know if Dad put it away somewhere, or I don't know what happened. Um, um, but let's say if I was out in the store, you know, and then and then I put it in my purse, right? I walk away, and I would forget about it, right? Until I got in the car, then I need to check, do I have my phone? That kind of thing. So it's kind of like an issue right now. I don't know what to do about it. I guess that I will admit that I've been wrong, because I hate doing that. I hate feeling panicky. I hate it when I still feel those impulse controls. But unlike most people's, like most people have like bipolar and schizophrenia, but their brains are still able to if they try really hard to do the right thing, they will eventually. I can't. Because there's so many times where I wanted to, but my brain just won't allow it. And yeah. Um so I'm only saying this because lately there's been times where lately it's been under stressful conditions. my dad's selling the house because he can't afford to look after it anymore. So he gets put he gets really down and I get really down, and that's why um that could also be contributed to more stress. I know that's no excuse for that. No, it's no excuse for me to freak out. But like I said, I've been that way for many years. The only difference now is that I will acknowledge it, but by the time it's done that, it's too late. I've already like 2 weeks ago I yelled at dad and the whole neighborhood can hear me, and probably because I was yelling at the top of my lungs, I pushed the the ladles and the stuff hanging on the counter inside the sink. I was throwing the chair in the kitchen, so it was like it was just awful, you know. So but but yeah, things like that. It's just I've been so under a lot of stress that I know that there's no excuse for that. But unlike people under a lot of stress, they don't freak out. They just go for a walk. Most people can do that. If they want to, most people can change that. Like, if they practice long enough, most people can change and just their brains can just flip the switch, but I can't. I know I did wrong, and I know I can do things differently, but it's like at that moment, I just freak right out. I just get panicky mode, or I just get really heated, where it's over anger. Like it's almost like an impulsive control. There is a diagnosis out there where I watched an Oprah Winfrey show, where the odd person has this disorder. I don't remember what it's called. I believe it's her name, so I can't remember. It's more like bless you, but if you can't understand what somebody's saying, it's like bless you. But there are a disease that I'll just call it the bless you disease, right? Because I don't know what it's called in real life. So um um there are people out there that the odd person, I've seen them, are like really sensitive to negativity. And they go on this rampage, impulse controls, and there are the odd person, not very many, but I could be one of them. I could be the very odd person because everything that happens to me seems to be odd. So, yeah, I'm odd, you know? But anyways, yeah, um, yeah, you just think back, I can think back to when my sister, I probably, um, like in high school, right? My sister, um, kind of, kind of made fun of me because she didn't like the way that hairdresser did my hair. She was having a bad day, right? So she decided to take it on me, right? But she had her brain to flip the switch when she realized, and she tried her hardest not to do that anymore. She tried her hardest because she didn't like them not feeling, you know. It was just at the time she didn't. But that's what I mean. Most people that say stuff and that when they're on their like, let's say if you're having a bad day, right? And you thought, ooh, that person is fat, and you go over there and you bully them. Most people can, and when they get a chance to think about it, if they want to, they can, and they can change their way of thinking if they just admit it that, yeah, they're wrong. But who wants to admit that they're wrong? Right? Who wants to admit that they've been bullying people or hurting people? It's better to just laugh and walk away, right? But it's not that hard to do, really. All you need to just say, well, yeah, I said something, I made a mistake, and then your brain will automatically tell you to change it. my brain doesn't work like that. Because I'm telling you right now, if it did, I wouldn't mature long from now, because there was never a moment in my life where I haven't admit that I've been wrong. There wasn't a moment in my life where I couldn't try to do the right thing, but it just never happened. My brain doesn't work like that. There are people out there with that disease, like I said, who are very sensitive to negativity. If I'm mistaken, there was a boy a long time ago. He wanted to kill his mom. Worse than I am. He was worse than I am. Right? But he was that type that was like very sensitive to negativity. Everybody that used to bring him down, he used to get so sensitive and angry over. So, like, for example, anything negative could be, let's say you're an animal lover like I am, right? Well, I get so mad when people are afraid of dogs. I have no empathy for them, because to me that's a negative behavior. So, yeah, it may seem like I have no empathy, and it may seem like, yeah, I want to beat this person to a pulp because they're running away from each dog. It's just because one dog is afraid of them. Yeah, I want to. Or I love to. But we can't do that. Right? Right? That's why I always want to make sure that I do the right thing. I always want to make sure that I do the right thing. And make the right choices someday. Because you know what? I hate when people act out. I hate when people, and then. So if I saw a rude customer in the store, I would want to stop that behavior. And I would do it the wrong way. I would probably give in his face, spit in him, spit at her or him, or yell at him, or like you see these odd these odd people that throw stuff in the store because they don't get what they wanted. Whatever they're looking for is not there. So they end up just throwing stuff in the store, and they freak out, and which to me, I'm not like that, because there's some things where I don't think is a big deal. Yeah, do I get upset that what I want is not there? Yeah. But that's what online is for. If I don't go to a store and I really wanted something and they don't have it, yeah, I will get upset. I will feel that impulse control raging. But as soon as I would walk away, as soon as I felt that I had impulse control, I would go outside. I would stomp my way outside, And by then I'd be calmer, because I got myself away from the situation. So it would make me feel better, It's good to get away from the stuff that bothers you. It's just that some people are more sensitive to it than others, and most people can control their anger, but I can't, because my brain doesn't let me do that. Like my brain can't tell my body to step back, and turn around and walk away. Like, by the time it does, it's already too late. It already told me to wreck the joint by then, or, But I did eventually go on to the ones when I was yelling and screaming and throwing stuff at with my dad. I eventually went out, but I took off without him knowing. And, he kind of said to me, well, I would have wished you told me where I was going, but I didn't want to then, because I didn't feel control of my own self. I didn't really feel like yelling at the door, Dad, I'm going down to the damn Dorns, I didn't feel like doing that, right? The neighbors would have been like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, because the whole neighborhood would have been outside, right? Imagine if I would have sounded like that. What would the neighbors think? Right? You got to think of that too. So, right? I'm not having my neighbors, having the people around me hear me yell and scream because I need to tell somebody that I'm going for a walk, I'm going somewhere. That's not right. Most people can just You know, if they've been told that yeah, just to tell somebody, they normally can. You know, they normally are able to get themselves together enough to say, "I'm going for a walk. See you later." But I can't. I would. The whole neighborhood would know that I'm going to Tim Hortons. So there are people from China that would know for crying out loud. You know, China could hear me. So is it really worth it? No. So I just go. I just go for a walk, or but I would never ever just leave my dad unnoticed. If I got to Tim Hortons, that's all I'll go to, basically. Or going down to the pet store or something. But there's always a phone there, and that I can call, you see? So it's not like I run away and never come back, like some people do, right? Like some selfish, screwish people that are angry and just run off and never come back and something happens to them. I don't think that that's appropriate. That's why I don't do that. I do go down to places where I know it's safe, but it doesn't take me that long before I calm down on my walk. I don't know why people, have to disappear for hours and hours and hours. I don't know why that has to happen whenever they get angry or upset, because to me it's not right. To me it kind of worries, because it doesn't take that long for somebody to calm down when they're on a walk. And only, like, the Dorns, it only takes like 30 minutes. It only takes about like 5 or 10 minutes for your body to realize it's getting those good endorphins. It only takes about 5 or 10 minutes. So it doesn't really take that long. And I don't know why people have to use like their lameness as an excuse to do things, because there are some people that really can help it, and it makes it look bad for that odd person that would do those bad things that really can help it. So that also bothers me when people don't admit that they're wrong, because most people can change. I've told you that. Most people can. They just choose not to. They don't want to. They don't want to admit that they're wrong. But let me tell you right now, I don't mean to do the things that I do. I I need help to change it. I'm gonna talk to my doctor about it. Um, um, cause if I get into a panic or angry at something, I will lash out, and I probably will go down to my room and slam my door or stomp my feet, or go without telling anybody. And I would love to just say calmly, you know what, Dad? I'm going for a walk to Tim Hortons. I'll see you, or can you come and get me in about maybe an hour and a half, you know? Or I'll call you when I'm done my tea. Because at that point I had a tea at Tim Hortons, right? Because, well, I knew that I was angry, and apple cinnamon tea that you can buy in the store at Tim Hortons really helps to get rid of all that negativity, because cinnamon's good for the body, and so are apples. So, yeah. Cinnamon's like really good for the body. So is apples. So I felt really good when drinking that. I had sweetener in it. I didn't have sugar. So, cause I know that sugar is really bad for me. If I had sugar in the tea, it would defeat the purpose of like feeling calm, because the sugar would raise my heart rate. It would raise everything back up again. So, yeah, that's another reason why I don't think people should be ordering sugar at that point in their tea. I think they should be ordering Splenda, because not to mention it tastes like tastes like sugar, right? Anyways, right? And there's lots of people ordering sugar, and even though it was two things of sugar, it's still sugar. It still raises your blood pressure. It still makes your day stressful, even if you're under a lot of stress. So not a good idea. So I just had two Splenda in my tea, and a medium tea, right bag in, that kind of thing, and I felt so much better, you know. So that part was good, but it was just at that time where, where I had that window of opportunity to stop and think, but my brain doesn't tell me to do that, and that what bothers me. I would love to be able to just take a step back and say, whoa, you know? But it's not until afterwards when I've done and I feel terrible it's happened. But I would love to be able to take a step back and say, whoa. Like, instead, whoa, calm down a sec. I wish my brain was able to just say to my body, like, whoa, calm down. Because it's all in the brain, right? It's all in the brain, right? Your brain has to send a message to your body to do that, right? But it also has to be on the person too. They also have to start by admitting that they're wrong and changing that and changing their ways. Otherwise, how can you change? Right? If you don't take responsibility for your actions, how can you change? You know? But imagine that feeling where you know you can change and you know what you're doing is wrong and you know that and you know it's you know a good thing to go for a walk and you can do it, but it's like you still have that feeling where you gotta throw this chair, or you gotta, you know, um, or where you gotta slam your hand on the counter, like that feeling, right? Or you take this cabinet, I take this cabinet and I chuck it across the room, like, like, all those kind of things, Yes, these are stuff on my own, but it's still not good behavior, and I know I can change it, um, but but it's like my brain just doesn't tell my body how. Or I went to see a counselor on how I can change it, but Wayne Kerrigan is an excellent counselor. I would recommend him to anybody, right? He was so great. He was so, like, he gave me advice and I took his advice and I still have his advice in the back of my head. Every time when I get angry, his words are the first things that come out, but it's just at that moment, those thoughts process takes a while because all of the things that people mention or say to me, it takes a while for my brain to process that. And by the time it's too late, I already like yelled and screamed when I knew I shouldn't have. Right? Wayne told me I shouldn't have. So you don't understand that feeling where you have no control over your body, where you're just like, you know, or you just have the feeling you have to yell and scream and throw things and trash things, maybe slam your door, and you act like a child, even though you're like 30 or 40, right? Right? Because 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 in your mind you have like mental issues, but most people with mental issues, like I said, can control their anger. There's also people out there with schizophrenia and bipolar that are able to hold the job and able to deal with some really rude customers that maybe set the average person off, but to them, they just handle it in the right way, right? Right? There's some people that have customers that are just full blown yelling at them. What are you, a piece of crap? Like, this thing doesn't work. Take it back right now. What are you? This is the first day on the job? Like, things like that, right? Right? Things like that really bother me, and I feel like I have to say something, but I know it's the right thing to do to walk away, but I don't know, my brain just works differently. I'm the oddball. I'm the oddball of the family. And I'm the oddball compared to all the world because that's why I choose not to go out in public on my own most of the time. Unless, like I said, I'm angry and I just need to get out. So, in future reference, if I get angry, I need to go for a walk, and if I have my phone with me at that point, you know, I won't tell you. I'll just go. Like, but I'll always call you if I got lost or something were to happen, I'll always call. Like, uh, like, um, like, so just for future reference, just let me go. Don't worry. I'll always call you if I have a problem or if I get to somewhere and you don't know where I am. I'll always call. I'm not that irresponsible. And and if I don't call you, then you know there's a problem. But I'm letting you know now. In future, I will always call you when I am done what I am doing. So please don't worry. I'm because sometimes I'm either down at the Des Moines or I'm on or if I'm living in Barrie someday because I'll be living in a group home someday, right? To get the support I need because everything I ever ask for, my mom and dad can't seem to do it, right? Right? Everything that I ever want, like someday I want to live like in this independent group home. Like someday, I don't want to have. Someday, I wish to live independently on my own. But it's hard for my parents to get me to like Dr. Rajkow's office and bowling and all these things that I love to do, and it's just hard to get around. So it's better off if I live in Barrie. But every single place in Barrie that I've been to, you know, they either end up having issues with me because that's what it was at my very first group home. And I did one more. Just one girl, right? She was really nice, but then again, she can be really nasty. She can be a jealous freak, you know. Sometimes I wonder, even then, you know, like is she still like that? Because she was an adult even back then. She was 18 years old, and normally at 18 years old you should smarten up by then. Like you're not a young 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old teenager anymore. You're considered an adult at 18. So you should have the brains to smarten up, right? Though it's never too late to change, but it is harder as you get older because, right? Because, right? Because you don't know um, how to fix it or how to do it because you've done too many bad things, and that's why it's good at the time. At the time when you very first realize that what you're doing is wrong. Because get this right, nobody has to be my friend. Nobody has to be my friend because they don't like the way I act or they don't have to like me or. But most of the time, I am pretty good with people. I fit right in with people, and I love my friends and I love my family. I'm odd. I'm very odd. Doesn't mean I'm not human, but when I get to that and I feel like I'm gonna lash out and throw things, I don't feel human. I don't feel, and when I feel like anger overpowered, kind of thing that needs to, like get rid of that anger right there, right now. And at the time, it's not good. And once my brain gets a message through it, then it says to go for a walk. But you know, it just gets too much. Like that's why I need to tell my doctor about it because it's not good, and it takes away from the people that because it sounds like an excuse, and it probably is because not too many people have my problems. But for those out there who do, have those issues, you know, where they are sensitive to negativity, or where they have OCD and they feel like they get into a panic and they can't do anything about it. They get so angry that they just break down crying. It's like some people with OCD break down crying, some people with OCD yell and scream and throw things, you know. Because people with OCD are sensitive to negativity. That's all part of the OCD, right? Like cleanliness. Some people can't pick up cleanliness and they get panicky, and but even then, you know, they're able to control it, right? They're able to control it, you know. They just say calmly, sorry, I can't do that. They might need help doing their job because, like Howie Mandel, right? He probably gets so angry when you leave dirt on the floor. But I don't think he yells and screams and throws a fit about it, because not anymore, because you know, he realizes that he can do that. You know? He realizes that he probably just goes away or goes off somewhere else, and um um he probably just goes off somewhere else and goes off to a spot where it's clean. Or if you get some dirt on his couch, he probably won't freak out and yell. Most people don't. Most people are like, ew, clean that up kind of thing, you know, clean up now, and they get into a panic. Well, but they won't yell and scream and throw things. That's beyond. That's a little bit extreme for most people, and that's what I think. But for me, yes, it is a little bit extreme, even for me. But I don't know what causes that. I've been like that ever since I was little. Everything from like the word no, you can't have that, to the um to like I wanted to have a second dog, or a first dog, or a service dog. The first time that my mom asked me for a dog, I asked my mom for a dog. She said no, and I freaked out on her. I remember that. I lashed out. Um, this one, when I was little, I used to attack her, and yeah, I did lots of stuff that I don't do now. But instead of attacking people now, I just scream and I throw things, which is better, but it's still not great. I still can be better. Like right now, I'm just about like 60% or 70% better, but I'm not asking for perfection. I'm not asking for like, I at least want to be like 80 or 89% better, you know, or 98% better at least, you know? Because guess what? Everybody gets angry, right? Everybody gets angry. That's something you can't control, but I could be better. I could do better. That's all I'm saying, right? Right? I could do better, and I could be controlled at least more times. And I thought about what Wayne said every single time when go for a walk. I always have him in the back of my mind. And there's not a day where I tell my dad when he's under a lot of stress, you know, just to talk about it. And he has. I know it's hard to like not. I know it's hard to like talk about the past, but the past, you can't change the future unless you talk about the past, right? That's all I'm saying. Okay, bye. That's my video. Bye.